Hello Year 7 and welcome to What Are the Major World Biomes distance learning lesson. Okay, so I think most of us have chatted about biomes already. So biomes are global scale ecosystems such as tropical rainforest and desert. If you are familiar with Minecraft, you'll be familiar with biomes because they're the different sort of settings that you can play the game in. Okay, so let's have a think about what are the main biomes in the world. Okay, so if we start nearest the poles, so nearest the North Pole, for example, the first one we come across is tundra, and this is dominated by very cold temperatures and low levels of rainfall. That means there's very little plant growth. The plants only have a very short growing season in summer, and so they only grow to a very small size. Next, coming a bit further south, we have the taiga. This is made of pine trees, so trees with needles that don't lose their needles during the winter. You can see here from the picture that it's very snowy in winter. Not many animals live here because there's very little to eat because pine needles are quite hard to digest. Okay, moving further south still, we've come across the temperate forest. Now this is what we would have in the UK if all the trees hadn't already been cut down. But large areas of forest still exist, species like oak and ash, and lots of animals, lots of different birds, deer, things like that. Okay, now if you've been on holiday to Spain, you'll be familiar with this biome. This is the Mediterranean biome. In the USA, they also call it the chaparral. This is made from lots of small woody bushes because it's quite dry in the summer, so plants only get water available during the winter. This means that they have very oily substances inside them. Most of those oils smell quite nice, so this is where we get a lot of our herbs from. Herbs like sage and rosemary, thyme, all come from the Mediterranean biome. Okay, in other areas where a bit further inland, so there's not enough rainfall for a forest, we get temperate grasslands. Now in Asia, they're known as steppe. In the USA, they're known as prairie. So this picture's from the USA. You can see the bison wandering around there. And these are grasslands, and the animals move around according to patterns of rainfall. Okay, then we've got our desert. So deserts are found around the tropics, and these are areas with very low rainfall, less than 250 millimetres of rainfall. So very little amount of plant growth, lots of spines on the plants and things like that. Moving a bit further south, we've got the savanna. So these are tropical grasslands. So you can see there are some trees, but it's mainly made up of grasses. And we've got some elephants here that have been visiting a watering hole. Again, the animals move around with where the rainfall is and the grass is growing. Then finally, well not quite finally actually, we've got a tropical rainforest. So these are the world's most productive biomes because it's very, very wet. It's over 2 meters of rainfall a year. The temperatures are high all year round, and what the plants love, they love wet and they love high temperatures. So huge forests, great big trees, plants grow all year round, and lots of different species of plant and animal. And then finally, in high up areas, mountains, we've got the alpine or montane biome. So these have very short summers where you can see in this picture we've got lots of flowers suddenly growing, but then the highest peaks of the mountains have got snow all year round. Okay, so let's have a look at a map to see where these different biomes are found. So as I kind of indicated there, they tend to run around the Earth in bands. Okay, so high up here in the Arctic, we've got tundra, and then as we move further south, we've got the various different biomes. So this blue colour here is the temperate forest, this green is the taiga, and then closest to the equator, we've got the tropical forest in this pale green. So you see how they're all located very close to the equator. Okay, and then we've got the deserts closest to the tropics. Okay, about 30 degrees north and 30 degrees south. Okay, right, so if you press pause for a moment and click pause and then complete task 1 and 2 from your booklet. When you've done that, if you come back and press play, I'll explain to you a little bit about the climate, okay? Okay, so welcome back, and we're going to talk about climate then. So climate is the average weather conditions for a particular place, and we work climate out over a number of years. So we've got 2 graphs here. One shows the climate for London in England, and one for Nyala in the Sudan. Okay, so England is in the temperate forest biome. So this is a typical climate graph for temperate forest. If you look at the x-axis, that's the one that goes across the bottom, you'll see the months of the year. Now on a climate graph we have 2 y-axes, 2 axes that run vertically. On the left hand side we've got the amount of rainfall, and the rainfall is indicated by the blue bars. So in January in London there's just slightly over 50 millimetres of rainfall, and you can see that on the blue bar. Alright. The temperature is shown using the line, the red line, and so you can see, and that's read off this right hand axis. Okay, so you see where it says temperature. So in January, reading off the right hand axis, the average temperature is about 6 degrees. Okay, so you can see in London then we've got rainfall all year round. Some months are slightly wetter than others, but rainfall all year round. It's cool in winter and gets warmer in the summer months and then cools down again. Alright, so this is a typical climate for the deciduous forest, the temperate forest biome. Right, then if we look at the one for Sudan, it's quite different, isn't it? So there's a dry season. So between November, December, January, February and March, there's no rainfall at all. And then in April the rains start, and it gets more and more rainfall until in August we've got the wettest month where there's over 140 millimetres of rainfall. And look at the temperature. The temperature is warm all year round. It does get warmer in the dry season just before the rains start, and then the rains come along, it cools down slightly, but it's always over 30 degrees. And this is quite typical of the edge of the desert or savanna. Okay, so climate then is the main thing that creates the different biomes. So the plants and animals that live in the different areas are adapted to living with the amount of rainfall and the temperature in that particular area. Okay, so pause again, read the information that's in the booklet and then try to complete task 3. Okay then, the final thing that you need to do is complete the quizzes and upload your completed booklet to Google Classroom. If you've got any problems, you can contact your teacher on Thursdays between 12:30 and 1:30. Thanks very much, Year 7. Bye bye.